Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tommy Borland, and you're watching ESPN 8 The Ochos coverage of the official Thumb Wrestling League. Today is the third round of the OTWL's International Championship Tournament. This is, of course, a single elimination tournament, because as we all know in thumb wrestling, it's all or nothing. Let's take a look at the playing field. And here it is, folks. This is where it all happens. With every match comes victory and defeat, success and failure, triumph and tragedy. And I'm sure we'll see all of that and more today as the national thumb wrestling champs from the USA and France go thumb to thumb in what's expected to be one of the most exciting matches thus far. But before we meet our contenders today, we have a special guest commentator joining us. With me is Lance Ronwood, three-time champion of 74, 75, and 78, and the biggest name in thumb wrestling training since the days of Charles Lebuc. Lance, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure, Tommy. Thanks for having me on.
What have you been up to in the past couple of seasons? We haven't seen you in the media as much as we had grown used to.
Well, I took some time off. I run a storage business off of Interstate 38, and that is really taken off. But I got a divorce recently, and I am really getting slammed with alimony.
Well, let's get back to the match, as I can see that they're getting ready over there. Lance, can you tell us about our wrestlers?
Yes. Well, from the United States, we've got Gary Young. He's got a good thumb on him, but he's not much of a thinker. Gary's all about using his brute strength he developed as a child on his family's farm. He's going to charge in and push his opponent around.
And what about Jeanette Clouseau from France?
That kid has probably got some of the fastest thumbs I've seen since Yin.
Oh, you're referring to Yin So-ping, your trainee who had a controversial DQ in the 97 tournament for an illegal snake action with the index finger.
I'd rather not get into that argument right now, all right? I still stand by Yin. It was an undeserving disqualification. But, as I was saying, Clouseau's got a lot of speed in her favor. She's great at darting around and evading, but she's also good at baiting her opponent's thumb for an unexpected KO.
This should be a great matchup tonight, and I think we're ready to get started. Let's head over to the table with Michelle Redman officiating.
All right, you two. Should be both very familiar with the rules. 3-count knockout. Keep your fists and elbows on the table at all times. No buddies, no snakes, and no movement of any non-thumb digits. If you break any of these rules, you will be immediately disqualified. Jeanette, are you ready?
Oui.
Gary?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's get it on.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war.
And they're off. Already we can see the two distinctive wrestling styles coming out.
That's right, Tommy. Like I predicted earlier, Gary is blitzing in there with that monstrous thumb of his, and Clouseau's doing everything she can to steer clear of it. Somehow, she needs to use his aggression against him.
I've definitely noticed that Jeanette Clouseau represents a European thumb stance, which is more rigid than the American stance, and relies much more on the movement of the joint closest to the hand, rather than the bending of the thumb itself.
That's true. But personally, I've always preferred the American stance, as it allows more flexibility. But, used by the right wrestlers, either stance could be lethal.
There's also the dangerous Korean stance. When used by amateurs, result in catastrophe. Wait. Just 1 second, folks. Something's happening. It looks like Gary Young has successfully reversed Clouseau's bait technique and is going in for the pin.
1, 2, 3, you're out.
Wow, folks, it's over. Gary Young from Wyoming, United States has just defeated Jeanette Clouseau from France in a dramatic turn of events. Lance, anything to say?
That was just spectacular, Tommy. I couldn't have expected a better match. I think both competitors did a great job, but with moves like that, Gary definitely deserves the win.
I couldn't agree more. Lance Ronwood, thanks for joining us today. And thanks everyone for watching. I'm Tommy Borland, and make sure to stay tuned for the post-match show where we'll be talking with Gary about his winning strategy.